Hello, welcome to the Trews. I'm Russell Brand. I present the Trews. No one else interviewed for the job. In a way, the whole thing's been quite corrupt. We're talking now about whether or not to advocate military action in Iraq against ISIS, or ICE as they're now called. Okay, so we're going to watch a bit of footage on Fox News where they're debating it. Should we be getting involved? Do we intervene in these situations? If we intervene in one situation, why do we not intervene in others? There's so many things to think about. It's very confusing. Obviously, Fox News we can rely on to give us some sort of balance.
President Obama declared his new policy of airstrikes and humanitarian airdrops. You sent out this tweet. Let's put it up on the screen.
Look at Fox News getting on board with tweets. I'm going to put it up on the screen now. They're all sort of pleased that they know how to do it. There, look, did the tweet come up then? It did. See, my bloody kids think I'm out of touch. Well, I just made a tweet go on the screen, so what do you say about that?
The actions announced tonight will not turn the tide of battle.
When I look at the map that General King described, I think of the United States. I think of an American city in flames.
Why? Why'd you start thinking about that for? I look at a map of Iraq that's miles away and I start thinking about American cities in flames. I look at a parrot in a cage and I start thinking of my children chained up in a dungeon. Hold on a minute, you go on weird non sequiturs in your own mind. Yeah, I do that.
So, Mr. President, you have never once spoken directly to the American people about the threat we face from being attacked from Syria, now Iraq.
But when they went in Iraq, what they said was, we've got to go to Iraq, it's all unstable and full of all these fighting factions kicking off. We've got to go there now. They've got weapons of mass destruction, they're going to destroy us en masse with these weapons. Right, good, all right, go then, we'll trust you. Yeah, no, there ain't no weapons of mass destruction. Oh, you bastards. But what's going on now is much, much worse. So now how can we trust them when they say, oh, we're going to intervene, we're going to arm the Kurds, we're going to do strikes, we're going to put some troops on the ground. I just think, I don't trust you lot at all. But the only thing we know for certain is what they tell us now isn't true. That's the only thing that in a few years they go, oh yeah, we did say a load of stuff about ISIS, but we had to say that to you because it was too confusing for you lot, you idiots.
The Director of National Security, the FBI Director, the Director of Homeland Security has said that the ISIS presence in Syria, where hundreds of Americans and thousands of European fighters have gone, represents a direct threat to the United States.
I reckon the reason they say it represents a direct threat to the United States is because they probably know that most people think how I think now, of like, hold on a minute, we don't trust you lot at all. We don't want to get involved. We don't want to see loads of coffins draped in British flags and American flags. We don't trust you. So then they go, oh, thing is, they're coming to our houses. They're going to turn up here. I don't think they got their hands full, weren't they, with what they're up to in Iraq. Right, that's good, we've done that now. Come on, we're going to Denver now and Norwich to kick off.
Senator Graham, are you saying we should go back to war in Iraq?
I'm saying that Iraq and Syria combined represent a direct threat to our homeland.
I think that they just amplify the information that creates the response they want. So if people are apathetic and mistrustful of our regimes, all right, we'll just say that they're going to be attacked in their shopping precincts and their homes. Oh, amplify that information. Oh, all right then, do what you've got to do. There's a bigger picture that they distract us from. They amplify the information that creates the results they want.
This is not a replacement for a strategy to deal with an existential threat to the homeland. What is your strategy to stop these people from attacking the homeland?
If you can't say the word strategy, don't consistently use it in your arguments. He's got no strategy. Don't use words that you can't say in your argument. Just stick to some word that you do know.
To every member of Congress, you've been told by every major intelligence leader in our nation that we're threatened, the homeland's threatened by the presence of ISIL in Iraq and Syria. To change that threat, we have to have a sustained air campaign in Syria and Iraq.
This is a really complicated issue, and the reason it's so bloody complicated is because of interventionism, it's because of our cultural imperialism, because of our continued belief that we know better, that we have some ideal that we can impose on the people of the Middle East. I think that we have to allow them to determine their own destiny and focus wholly and solely on humanitarian aid and looking after the victims and trying to create diplomatic and peaceful solutions, because otherwise we're just going to generate more war. We can't keep doing the things that we've done in the past and imagine that a solution is going to magically arise. This time when we bombed them, they took it really well, didn't they? Yeah, no, we've seen the error of our ways. Thanks for bombing us. We've decided to harmonise. And so, one thing we should rule out is stuff we've done in the past that hasn't worked.
Since bin Laden has died, there are more terrorist organizations with more safe havens, with more money, with more weapons, and more capabilities to attack the homeland than there was before 9/11. Mr. President, if you don't adjust your strategy, these people are coming here.
All these insurgents, all this anger, we generated ISIS with our actions previously, and that anger that they're expressing came from antagonism.
Mr. President, be honest with the American people about the threats we face. To the members of Congress who say stop, what is your alternative if we stop to protecting the homeland?
The only people that should be allowed to be involved in this is people with no economic or financial interest, and the only intention should be to create harmony and to look after the humanitarian aspect. I mean, I'm sure that the Kurds are being persecuted, but arming factions is what creates all of this chaos. It was at some point we've got to accept that we don't have the solutions. Like, we keep going over there, picking a side, arming a side, and perpetuating the problem. I don't trust the people's intentions or the people themselves that are engineering this and strategizing it, because they've lied to us in the past. And how come, if they care about persecuted people like the Kurds, how come they don't care about the Palestinians? What's going on? What is their actual position? There's no moral equanimity and there's no consistency. There's no reason for us to trust them. They give us no reason to trust them.
His responsibility as president is to defend this nation. If he does not go on the offensive against ISIS, ISIL, whatever you want to call these guys, they are coming here. This is just not about Baghdad. This is just not about Syria. It is about our homeland. And if we get attacked because he has no strategy to protect us, then he will have committed a blunder for the ages.
What becomes consistently clear in Fox News' coverage of anything is they'll always push an agenda of war, because war, generally speaking, is good for the military-industrial complex. They'll never push the idea. You can tell from even like someone who's moderate. This guy who's talking now, he's not like a Hannity or O'Reilly character. He's quite mild-mannered, isn't he? And he's quite a sort of sweet-seeming fellow. But their agenda is always towards aggression because there's money in it. And I don't think it's like that there's a cackling cabal that meets up in shadowy rooms or shaded rooms or any kind of... I don't know. We don't know. Perhaps there are. But there is an ideological alliance between big companies like Fox News and big companies like Halliburton and big companies like Blackwater and the big companies that benefit from a different form of colonialism, going into countries, meddling with their shit, taking over, telling them what to do, arming this side, selling arms, arming that side, building this, taking control of those resources. It's an ideology. It's kind of as much as ISIS or IC or ISIS baby, or whatever they're called now, have an ideology. There is an ideology being pushed by Fox, and what I think we have to do is completely withdraw from it. And we also have to recognise that as long as anyone has any financial interest in a conflict, that's always going to govern them, because that's their religion. Their religion is capitalism and commercialism and materialism. So you can't have anyone involved with any links to that. That's what we should insist upon. Not where we all exist in homogenised systems where we're controlled by a corporate elite, lied to by companies like Fox News, manipulated by giant commercial interests under the illusory veil of nationalism and deceptive flags. That is some truths. David Cameron may even leave his holiday, I've read here, to come discuss it. I don't think he should help. Stay in Portugal, mate. You're better off there. Thank you very much. That's some truths.
A tool that is abused to fool you and to leave you scared and confused. Trews is like the news. If the news was true, I want some truths. Let's have some truths.